Hey everybody, this is Bruce with habowskistudio, and I'm going to be painting an urban scene today. Over here, the garage with the little green dumpster, and I thought it'd be a pretty cool subject. I got an exhibit coming up that I'm going to be doing some urban themed pieces, so I thought it'd be cool to do a plein air. Alright, let's get going. Okay, using this viewfinder that I made, I've selected an 8x10 that I'm going to do. So I'm going to get that mapped out and I'll come back to the viewfinder later. Okay, here's my base sketch. Not looking too bad. I immediately focused on getting the angles of the shadows because I know they're going to change quickly. It's 8:15 in the morning, so now I'm going to get to pulling out some highlights and that sort of thing using a new little squeegee thing I made, and I'll go over those later if it works out. Okay, it's working pretty good. It's just a little piece of rubber, and I had it attached to some wood. It didn't stay stuck on there, so I'll explain later what that's all about. But here's what's going on. See how I'm pulling out some of the raw umber that I used for the sketch? Then I just have it damp with a little bit of, I wet it, clean it off, and if I pull off some paint I can dab it on a paper towel. But kind of cool. Let's see if I can pull out that white bucket. And if you make a shape too big, I'll show you. Let's say that's too big. Just cut around with your flat brush and clean it back up. Pretty cool. I'll get back to you. Here's what I got going on. Technique works kind of cool. Depending on the color you use for your toning, it could set up on you a little bit, but you can just wet your little scraper thing with some terps and it works pretty good. I could have gone further with this, but I chose not to. And now I'm just going to add some white to my raw umber to get more of a value sketch going on. So let me get to that. Just getting some white. Get a sky value going on. Just kind of creating an edge of leaves, then cut. Cut. I want another piece of sky kind of right here. I don't want the same shape. A little more white. And making it a little brighter because it's dirtying it up just a bit. Right now I'm not too concerned with, I just want to see what kind of shapes I want for the tree. Just suggesting. We'll leave that for now and get to the building. Okay, now almost pure white, back into the sky. I'm just using some turpentine. Okay, let's strike in some light. Not going super thick because I'll be laying color over. So, oh, by the way, I'm just using a Rosemary & Company ivory long flat. Size, looks like size 8. And then a size 2 kind of long flat Princeton and Brush Company. Around this cast shadow here. Okay, back to what I can do once I go as far as I want with these big brushes, because I want varied strokes. I can come back in and finesse this wet paint to create textures and all that sort of thing. Shaping up. I like that this bottom is a little bit of a blue-gray where the bottom of the loading dock there. Mix up. Getting there, getting there. Let's get some shadow color going on with some raw umber and white. Fairly dark, I can always lighten it. And this shadow here is darker than this shadow here, because this is a little bit darker garage door. And it goes even a little bit darker where the blue is going to be at the bottom. That could even be a little bit darker. Shadows are changing fast and sticking to my original plan, obviously. Lighten it up again. Notice I didn't pollute the whole pile. Go into my shadows. Watch how this has to line up. Cast shadow here. Saving a little bit where the post is going to go. And you got some debris in the shadows there, a palette and stuff like that. There we go. Cast shadow over here. A little darker because you have the blue wall there too. A little bit of highlight over here. Making sure it lines up. There's a post there. Okay, now I'm going to work on some detail in here and get back to you. Okay, it's coming along pretty good for a value sketch. As you can see, the sun has gone away. I now have clouds, but because I nailed my shadows quick and that sort of thing, now I can just work on little details. Let me show you. So this is what I got going on. There's the subject. Now I'm just picking out little details to work on. And until hopefully the sun comes back out, which I doubt it will, but hopefully it can tack up enough. I can start just putting in little notations of color so that I'll know what's going on. But overall, it's just a study and a value sketch. Okay, it's coming out fairly good. I'm not going to get the sun back, it appears. So I may have to cut this short. But just doing a few little things like suggestion of signage. Clean that up around the shape. I'm liking it quite a bit though. And there's a few little dark accents in this area, the bottom of the receiving door. Might have to get into a little bit of detail brush, I don't know. I like the gist of it. A little more of a highlight over here. Whoops. It's like stacked up fuel tanks. Not even sure what type of business is this. What type of business this is, but just I've always driven by here, and I've liked the composition. So here I am. Okay, I gotta pretty much wrap this up. The sun's not coming back out, but I think I got a really good start. I'm liking the values, and I probably will put in just a little bit of color here and there, just like one block of color to suggest what the dumpster color looks like. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to work on a little bit of the tree here. Get some sharp darks here. Light against dark, dark against light. And of course, the value of the green in the trees, you know, I don't want competing with the light on the building. Of course, it's the light on the building is the lightest value here. Having at least 3 values in the painting, picking the right values will really give a sense of realism and set the drama of the scene here. A lot of the background here of the tree type stuff is going to be just arbitrary, stealing some of what I see, using it only really as tools to set off elements in my focal point. Don't worry about melting edges here. I'm going to be going back and forth anyway. I don't want too strong edges along the outside there. This is where I'm trying to get a little poetry in my piece here. I think I'm going to call this just a basic value painting. This is the rest of the foundation here, like over here. That'll help set off that leg. Okay. Hey, so now I want to go over what I used in the painting to scrape out some of that paint. I was looking for some kind of squeegees at the local hardware store, and of course they were all too wide, and I was thinking of, instead of like a palette knife to scrape out paint, you could use this squeegee to, on some wet surface, pull out some paint, create edges and that sort of thing. So what I ended up doing was buying the refill replacement rubber little strip on the squeegees for window washing, and you can buy it in 18-inch length, and then I just cut different size pieces. Little short one, use whatever. I tried gluing them to a piece of wood to have like a little tab and then wipe, but that didn't work too well. The glue didn't stick. Even using super glue did not stick the rubber to the wood. So now I just use the rubber itself, and it's stiff enough to use to wipe out some paint, so that was pretty cool. And then for my little viewfinder, I've just created a little acetate with a grid, corrugated plastic, a little piece of Velcro on the back of that facing piece to move it to the different increments that you can see, and that worked out pretty well too. Okay, well, I'm calling this one. The sun is totally disappeared. It's not cloudy, but it's just hazy, and I think I got a very good start. Check it out. So I want to thank you for joining me for this little urban plein air adventure. If you're new to the channel, thank you for checking it out. I invite you to subscribe. Check me out on my Facebook page, habowskistudio, and my website, www.habowskistudio.com. Hey, until next time, bye. Okay, I just got home from the location and had a really good time painting this one. I originally was going to put color on, but once I started doing this little beginning value sketch, and as you saw me wiping out some highlights with the little rubber pieces, I said, you know what, I think I'm just going to do a value sketch today, and really kind of concentrate on what I see as lighter, darker than other colors, like the garage doors just slightly. It's in, of course, in real life was a different color than the wall of the building. It was like a very, very pale burnt sienna, and so I wanted to suggest that, of course, in gray being the raw umber and titanium white. And I really like the sense of light in the piece, and how I handled the trees and bringing out the corner of the roof lines there with a little bit of a darker shadow of the tree there. And once this dries up, I'll put the actual color in the piece. Not too much to really kind of worry about. Of course, you got the green dumpster, which was pretty darn cool, and then you got a white bucket over here, and there's a red cylinder or something in the shadows too that I'll probably put in little flicks of color to add a little life to an urban subject. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I really had a lot of fun. I'm pretty happy with the piece, and I was pretty happy with watching the slight perspective going on as I continued painting. And I like the two differences in, you got the pavement and then some like just dirt over here, which is kind of cool. Yeah.